I was about 5 minutes into recording this video, and I noticed that my mic wasn't plugged in all the way. That's fine. The beginning of the video was a little jumbled. Anyway, here's the thing. Damn it. Okay, let me start from the beginning. I was watching this video called Carl Jung Exposes Why Some People Drain Your Energy. When some people hear the word energy, it gets a little mushroomy, and they don't really like that. They're like, oh, it's psychic energy, cringe. Here's the thing. So this is how I started the video the last time I recorded it, but it didn't record the fucking sound. I said there are two paths that you have. We're talking about you. You're important. The video is all about you. That's why I put you in the title. Not your name, but I put the word you, whatever. A, you will understand your capacity for evil eventually. Or B, you will eventually commit evil and afterwards understand your capacity only after the evil's been committed. There is really no in between, or you'll die early, one of the two. But that's how you'll come to terms with your shadow. The ability for your shadow to commit atrocity, at least. If you don't know what the shadow is, it's a Jungian thing. It's like all of the repressed personality traits and characteristics of yourself. So, like if you see yourself as only a reasonable person, you've repressed your unreasonableness, and that's not very, reasonable, if you ask me. Or if you see yourself as a very happy and uplifted person, you've repressed your anger, your capacity for anger, and you let it out unconsciously by being passive aggressive and things like that. So let me ask you a question. This video is actually turning out better than the last one, so I'm not really mad anyways. Let me ask you a question. I'd like you to answer this question. Who is more dangerous and unpredictable? The guy who's had a history of violence and has come to terms with who he is as a person and is now peaceful? Or the man who's never been in a violent encounter and doesn't know what he's capable of? Who would you rather have beside you? Let's say on a night out. Or who would you rather have walk your wife home? Which one of the two? Or who would you rather get in an argument with? Well, probably not the first guy. Who would you rather have with you to defend you from a large group of people? Who would you rather trust to keep their cool when the coals get hot? You have to know that you are not perfect and you can be evil if it comes down to it. Has anybody ever asked you, hey, if it came down to it, do you think you could commit a murder? Do you think you could, if someone was, and then you say, well, if somebody was attacking my mom, then yeah, if somebody broke into my house, I'd probably shoot him. I'd shoot him if he broke in. Dude, temporary insanity is very weird, isn't it? It's so weird. A legal defense in criminal law that argues that the defendant was mentally ill at the time of committing a crime. What the fuck does that mean? But their illness was temporary and did not affect their ability to understand the nature of their actions. What? So their illness was temporary and it did not affect their ability to understand the nature of their actions, but they were mentally ill. So what were they? What was it? They were temporarily psychopathic? You're temporary sociopathic. A mental disease or defect that was temporary. Name one. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So I'll tell you what it actually is. What it actually is people who don't understand what they're capable of committing things that they didn't know they were capable of. That's what it actually is. That's what it should fucking say. But it's not what it says because, that's how that works. So it's like, if you don't think that, you could rape somebody or you could kill somebody or you could throw a baby across a room, I understand the fact that I could choke out an old man in a coffee shop if I wanted to. But I'd never do that because I don't like prison and I like old men. Pause. They're nice. They're sweet. They're cool. Why the fuck would I do that? But I understand that I could do that if I wanted to. Does that make me evil? Why? I understand my capacity for violence, and I refuse to act in a violent manner. I believe that makes me aware of my abilities more so than someone who doesn't know that they could do that. And then you can make the argument, well, why do you need to know? It's because you need to know everything about yourself. Because when a situation arises and your instincts take over, you aren't actively thinking, and anything could happen. So now I know for a fact that I still wouldn't kill an old man, rape a woman, murder someone, or throw a baby across a room if it came down to that, because I know I could if I wanted. But I won't. Because I know I could. I've thought about the possibility of it. And I see that the outcome has a net negative. So I won't do it. I won't do it. Those are things that I'll never do those things. But I think you have to consider the possibility that you're able to do those things before you don't do them. So let's take speeding, for example. Everybody who speeds either probably has a good idea of where the police are in their area, or hasn't been pulled over enough times. And then once you get pulled over a couple of times, you go, I could fucking speed if I wanted to, but it's not good for me. There's not much I'm getting out of this, but I could because I have. And I know I could drive very fast because I've rushed before. But I don't want to speed. I'm not going to do it. Yada, yada. It's the same with fighting. Fighters are some of the most chill people you ever meet in your life. Let me tell you something. Fighters are some of the nicest motherfuckers you'll ever meet, bro. People who can fight, people who have hands, real hands, people who go to the gym and train on a regular basis are the nicest people ever. Nice. Kind of predictable. They're nice, they're genuine. Because they know what they can do. You know what I mean? They know. Am I explaining this well? What do you think? Am I explaining this very well? I'm saying that you have to, so Carl Jung calls it the shadow. Calls it the part of yourself that's behind you that you really don't want to see. I don't want to see my capacity to rape. That's crazy. That I could do that? I don't want to think about that. But I have to understand that drive is in me somewhere. And I have to control that. I have to keep it under control. Some guys don't. And then guess what? They go rape a bitch and go to prison. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes. So here's how I'll say this as well. Since we're talking about rape, by the way, a lot of rapes happen. Most rapes, I think it's 80%, happen by someone that the person knows. And me personally, I don't think a lot of these rapes are premeditated. I think they kind of just happen, and the person doesn't know how to control themselves. And then and you cross the boundary. It's a very thin line, and then it's rape, and then you're fucked. Those are the ones that get reported, by the way, because since most of the rapes happen by people that the women know, rape is a terrible thing. It's awful. It ruins them indefinitely. Once you're raped by someone you know, wait, what was I going with that? Holy shit. This is not good. Lost my train of thought on the rape concept here. Where was I going with that? I think I was going to say it's you enter a sexual encounter with someone that you're supposed to trust, and it just blows up in your face, and you're like, how the fuck did this happen? And maybe even the rapist is thinking, how could this have occurred to me? Okay, so yeah, this is what I was going to say. It's 80% of the rapes, the person knows. Which means that there's a factor of trust that goes into this sex in the first place. It's probably consensual to begin with, I think. And then somewhere down the line, a couple minutes go in, she says, slow down, stop, I'm not feeling it maybe. Or he's about to get into it and she's like, not tonight. He goes, no, I've been waiting for this. You get raped. But I know I could do that, so that's why I know that I won't. There's no way that's going to happen because I could. I'm very powerful. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to consider your capacity for violence to know not to be violent, because you have to know what you're not going to do. When you go to driving school, they tell you all the things to not do. They tell you to stop at the stop sign. They say, don't run the stop sign. They say, this is how you do a 3-point turn. They say, this is what you should do. They say, this is what you don't do. Don't do this, don't do that. You know? I think the best way to learn is to learn what not to do and to make the mistakes. They say that shit. They say, make the mistakes. Now, I understand that I'm using a rape example and I'm saying make mistakes to learn very close to one another. Do not rape ever, please. It is bad. It's illegal. It's also wrong, by the way. It ruins the trust that women have for men. It's bad. It'll ruin you as well. And there's a net negative to rape. It's not good. It's not good. Do not rape anyone. Please, God, don't do it. It's a bad thing to do. However, understand that you could. Think about it. Don't avoid it. Think about it. Think about it. This sounds insane. Please, believe me, I understand most of the things I say on this fucking camera sound absolutely ridiculous. I understand that when I say at a date or when you're getting close to the sexual encounter with a woman, to think that you could take advantage of her. So now think of all the things you could do to actively not do that. Don't let yourself get too worked up. Things like that. If you're feeling too hype, slow down because you know what could happen. That's how you don't rape someone. People, and there's some people that are probably watching this video thinking, holy shit, you have to stop yourself from raping someone? Whoa, well, it's insane. Never done it, never will. That's all I'm saying. And there's some people who have to stop themselves from beating the shit out of other people sometimes. Like, there's certain people who, that some people you probably wouldn't understand, grew up in environments where that's how they were raised, where it's like, you have to fight to win. You have to. You don't have a choice. And now they understand what they're capable of. And they know that when they're in certain environments, they have a capacity to do that. And so, if it gets down to that, or it gets very close, they'll remove themselves, or they'll understand what feelings they're feeling. They're very emotionally aware. They become more mature as a result of growing up like that. And they know these things. They know what could happen. And then you take the guy that doesn't know what he's capable of because he's never allowed his primal masculine energy to run free. So he doesn't know what will happen when it does. Instincts will take over and anything could happen. And that, let me tell you something, is not something you want to be around when it does take place. That's my point. My point is, the guy that knows he's evil, somewhere inside of him, has a much lesser likelihood to commit evil. Pure evil. So, what can you do? You could think of all the evil things you could do. And then understand the fact that you have the capacity to do those things so that you could never do them. I think that makes sense. I mean, it takes a lot of emotional stability to not hit a woman sometimes. I'm going to keep it a stack. Especially if you're with her for a long enough time. A bitch will just say some shit and you'll be like, bitch. You'll be like, bitch. Say something else. And then there's some guys who don't know that they could do that. And then they fucking hit a bitch and end up in prison. And then baby's crying, split up. It's bad. It never ends well. You know what I mean? The thing about women is like, they test you. And that's kind of what they're supposed to do. That's their job. Because, like, why would you be with someone who's supposed to protect and provide if you don't know he can protect and provide? So you test to see if he can protect and provide, to see his capacity for protecting and providing. Do they do this consciously? Not most of the time. So they'll, like, argue. They'll, like, make some shit up or some shit like that. And you're supposed to keep it cool. Keep it emotionally stable, right? And then, boom, you're good. But then some guys, you know, they don't know what they're getting into. They fucking freak out. Next thing you know, you're in front of the judge thinking, I don't know what happened. Kind of just yapping. I hope what I was talking about made sense. This is a very good video. The premise of this video was kind of, well, obviously, why some people drain your energy. It gave a lot of examples of certain people like narcissists or martyrs, people who sacrifice themselves, drain your energy because they don't know how to say no and things like that. And then they have these grandiose expectations for you because they've sacrificed themselves for you in the past, but it hasn't been genuine gifts that they've given you of either their time or service. They've been looking for something in return in the future, and a lot of the times they don't even know that. I think it's possible I could have done that in the past. Holy shit, my nose is a little stuffed. It's not as stuffed as usual. I've been talking for a lot longer than I thought. 15, 16 minutes. I feel like this is the average length of the video is 15 minutes now. But, yeah, I really do hope that makes sense. I think I understand. So here's what I understand. I'll give an example. I understand I have the capacity for violence. I'm 6'1", I'm a large black dude who's muscular and knows how to fight. I do jiu-jitsu on a semi-regular basis, I'll say. I know what I'm capable of. I know that I know that in certain environments, my masculine energy will come out and I'll compete with guys because that's all the guys do that. If you put guys together for long enough, one will reign alpha eventually. Eventually, it'll happen. And I know that I will participate in that environment in one way or another. I know that I want to fuck, just like every other guy does, regardless of if they say so or not. They do, unless they're asexual, which is, like, I think personally, a brain deficiency. I think it's a brain, well, not a deficiency. It's definitely a brain, like, side note, I think asexuality is really weird because it's like, it's a part of the universe that's like snipping itself off. It's very strange. Anyways, I think, yeah, guys want to fuck. So it's like most interactions you deal with females, it's like, keep that in mind that you probably want to fuck her. And if not, then you don't. And then, you could act accordingly. And then you could understand that the reasons you do certain things is because of that's probably the truth. Even getting married is for some consistent pussy, to be honest. A nice partner and also consistent pussy, because marriages fall apart when the pussy stops coming. I'm keeping it a stack, it's facts. Sexless marriage is torture. Keeping it real, God damn it. What else? I know that I want to look good for women. I want to look bigger than men. I want to feel strong and big. I want to feel powerful. I want to be capable. I want to be useful. And I understand that my behaviors drive these unconscious/conscious wants, mostly unconscious. But I understand that the behaviors I engage in are because of these truths. Like, these are the things I want. And so I think that makes me a little bit less likely to commit something and not know why I did it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just going to rape a bitch and be like, wow, how did this happen? It's not going to happen to me. Like, there's a 0% chance of that. And I think it's because I've integrated my shadow semi-decently, to be honest. Like, I know a lot of my instincts, what they are. And, like, if I feel myself pulling towards a direction, I'll know, okay, this is what I want out of this. And that's why I'm doing this. And that's why I'm feeling like this. That's kind of the way I function. And I think that's a good way to function, to be honest. That's why I'm kind of talking about it, because the video highlighted it pretty well. It's a good video. I'd recommend that. It's in the description of this video. So, yeah, I think I'm kind of trying to just wrap everything I'm saying and put a nice bow on it, but it's very difficult to do, to be honest. I'm going to buy a flip phone tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to happen. Gonna get the flip phone. Some things I want to stop doing, if you know what I mean. So like what I could do is I could get the flip phone and then keep my number and then just have the texts come in on both phones and then keep my smartphone at home and use the flip phone. The only caveat or the only downside is there's no like Spotify on the flip phone unless I spend fucking $200 on it, which kind of sucks. But yeah. My nose is a lot clearer than usual. I sprayed a lot of allergen prevention shit around. Got my carpet cleaned. Well, my parents got my carpet cleaned for me. They paid for it. Shout out to them. Let's go. W. Parents that love me. Nice. I'm definitely going to miss that unconventional love when they die. That's the thing, too. Is like I understand my parents are going to die. So when, hopefully when it happens, I'm not as torn up about it because I can think and understand that that'll happen. Does that make sense? Like, thinking about the things, the other half of things, considering that they are there, not dwelling on them, but just acknowledging them, looking at them, you know, noticing them, and then looking away. But if you can't even look at them, I don't think you're as well off as if you did. I think that's the truth. Gotta be some of the best sleep I have had in a very long time, I think. I'm fucking exhausted. I really don't know why I didn't do a ton today. I could keep talking, to be honest. I might. I mean, fucking, I don't give a fuck. I mean, it's my channel. I do what I want in this motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying to you? How many subscribers do I have, actually? I think I hit 715. Holy fuck. I hit like, I got like 7 today. That was pretty cool. I think that was, yeah, 715. Let's go. Yeah, applause. Wait. Yeah. Woo! 750! 750! Woo! Yeah! Start over. Yeah! Alright, okay, that's enough. Okay, cool. The temporary insanity thing is it's very weird. What the mental disease? So, all you have to do, which mental disease is, like, you gotta understand, the people who are diagnosing these are people, by the way. So, all you have to do is be able to sell very, very well. And maybe you can get away with anything. I mean, if your record's decently clean and it's kind of like an off-the-wall thing. I think I really do truly think that's how these off-the-wall things kind of happen. Like where somebody snaps and stabs their wife. Like, I think that's how those things happen. So here's the thing. When people call those people evil, it's very confusing. Because it's like, dude, you could do the same thing if it came down to it. If you were put through the exact same set of circumstances, through the exact same childhood, the exact same life, the exact same decisions, you had the exact same brain chemistry, your morals wouldn't take effect. You would kill that person as well. I believe that to be true. I think if you put yourself through the eyes of a murderer that you could never fathom being, you would be that person. I think you would kill that person. I think you would commit those heinous acts that you can't even imagine. Those things you don't even want to think or talk about. Like, if you can't even consider, I'm gonna finish up, but I think, like, dude, like, I'll finish with this. I do believe truly that if you can't even consider your capacity for evil, you won't know how to confront it if it rears its ugly head. You won't. You won't. You'll have zero ammo. You'll have nothing. Nothing. You won't know how to defend against the urges, the instincts. You won't know. You got to think about that shit. You don't have to dwell on it, but consider it as something that is not that has a possibility above zero of occurring. That's all. You don't have to sit and plan how you're going to do something evil. No, that's illegal. That's literally illegal. Conspiracy to commit certain acts is illegal. It's against the law. So I'm not saying to do that. I am saying to consider the fact and possibility that you could do any of these things. Anything. You could do anything if it really came down to it. And the circumstances were perfect. That's the thing. The circumstances have to be absolutely like diamond tier perfect circumstances. And then like you know, also speaking of circumstances, the effect that propaganda has on like a below average IQ, for example, is profound. It can get to a point where you don't even control your decisions. It's absolutely insane. Human psychology. Still learning a lot about it, but it's super, super fascinating. This is something that I kind of wanted to primarily explain to myself to see if it made sense and then just film. And I think it does. So yeah. I'm going to go to bed now. I already brushed my teeth. I already flossed. But it's just late. It's nothing really to do. So I was watching this video and I was like, fuck it, you know. Like, I really do think this is going to, okay, this of all things in this video, this is probably going to sound the most fucked up. I think that, like, if somebody does something, so let's say, like, I murder my wife or something like that, which would never happen. But if it were to happen in a parallel universe, let's say I murder my wife. Okay, so my wife is murdered. Fuck. I say fuck. No, and then I freak out, and then I call 911 and I'm fucking tweaking on the phone, right? I go, fuck, I don't know what happened. Fuck, I just fucking killed her. I really think we should give those people a little bit more leniency. Like, the people who are genuinely remorseful, but at the same time, you have to be... Oh, I'm just sitting here arguing the what's the word? I don't know. The specifics around, like, judgment for crimes, which I have no credentials to be doing. But I don't know. Me personally, I think anybody could kill somebody. That's what I think. If the circumstances were perfect, anybody could commit a murder. A murder. Could take the life of another person if the circumstances were absolutely perfect, on a dime, like on a platter. If somebody handed you the circumstances, dressed up nice with a bow, you would commit a murder of anybody. I think that's true. I think the sooner you realize that, the closer or the sooner you come in contact with who you really are as a human being. Okay.